Hey everybody, welcome to Street Fight Radio. How's it going? We had a little bit of technical difficulties getting things set up tonight. Change of plans. We're here early for your Street Fight Basement show. Thanks for being here. As always, you can find what we do on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. You can watch along, jump in the chat. Tell us what you think. We're here to help you spread this mess across the U.S. My name is Brett Payne. My co-host is Brian Quinby. We're Street Fight Radio, the #1 anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. We're spreading our mess to Texas in October. It's happening October 14th in Austin, Texas, October 16th, Oklahoma City, October 17th, Dallas, Texas, and October 18th, Friday night in Houston, Texas at Houston Underground. Street Fight Radio and Party World Wrestling is going to team up for the event of a lifetime. You don't want to miss it, folks. If you're in fucking Shreveport, make the drive. We are selling tickets for $15 for that night. The other ones just depend on whatever the venue charged us. You can find all that information at streetfightradio.com. If you want more info, if you're ready to buy tickets, just head straight to store.streetfightradio.com and that will get you squared away. We also have coming up on Monday, September 30th, the Shocktober bonus show. Brian and Felix from Chapo Trap House have been co-hosting a show all this month. They're ready to go. We're ready to release them. Jake's been editing them. You'll be able to get that on our premium audio feed. It's $5. Everyone that gives $5 or more over on patreon.com will have access to that show.
Yeah, I'll say this. The first episode is Opie and Anthony. And on top of getting to hear us talk about Opie and Anthony, which is the show that me and Felix were probably the most familiar with, you get a lot of behind the scenes Chapo and Street Fight stuff too, and even just a look into the insecurities of people like us that do things like this. And I think it's a really good show. The first one was really great. I mean, all of them have been good so far, but that first one, I think if you're I don't even care about the shock jocks, there is other stuff in these shows, and Opie and Anthony was a really good sort of thing to compare ourselves to in a way, because it's two partners. They were partners. They worked together for 20 years, and it's interesting. Their career arc was very weird. So
It's true.
I think people will really enjoy that, and I think people enjoy all the rest of them too. We just finished Bubba the Love Sponge. I ended up falling in love with him, but Felix ended up thinking he's a worm. So, fair and balanced show, I guess.
Both sides.
Yeah. So, how's it going? What are we doing here tonight? What do we got? We got the president's going to maybe get impeached. It's an impeachment inquiry.
Yeah.
So that's happening. Hey.
Pretty surprising.
It's something. Here's what I don't like. Okay. And I am 100%. I want to say this before I go into all this stuff. I'm 100% for impeaching him. And even if that means that we impeach all of them for the rest of time, because I think it could. I think the first time we successfully impeach a guy and he actually has to leave, I think every time people are going to be like, we got to impeach this motherfucker.
He's about to be up for re-election. Let's just kick him out instead.
Yeah. I thought about that yesterday. I saw a op-ed written by John Yoo. He was the torture memo guy. Okay. He wrote the torture memos back in the day. And I saw that thing, and he was like, it could set a dangerous precedent. And I'm like, who gives it? Who fucking cares about these presidents? Let's just fucking get them in there. I mean, impeachment should be easier. Because you should be able to get them in there. Look, I'm not begrudging these Trump people their chance to have their guy. That's the way the system works, and they fucking won. You know what I mean? And technically, if I know, only 40% of the population votes anyway, and only half of them voted for Trump, and even less people voted for Trump than Hillary or whatever like that. It's like, we gave him a shot, man. He's bad, dude.
Yeah.
Get out of here,
It's a little
buddy.
too much.
Kick him out the fucking door. They should just let people. I know why, but you should just have another election. I like that British shit. I love that British shit where it's just like all of a sudden somebody can be like, we're having an election, and then have to have an election. That's my shit.
I didn't know about that.
Hold on. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not an expert on
British politics.
British politics or anything. But I'm not an expert on British politics or anything. But from my understanding is that the way it is there has to be an election every certain amount of years, I believe. And the party that is in charge or whatever, or either the prime minister can just be like, the election's next year, and then everybody has to do an election. And I'm like, I kind of like the idea of it being like, just whenever the fuck we decide we're tired of the people. 4 years is a long time, dude.
Yeah.
Imagine being in jail for 4 years. Fuck that. And we're kind of in jail every 4 years. We got some new maniac fucking running the thing. I think if we could get rid of them quicker, they might do better stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think you get the best out of people by constantly changing
Probably not.
leadership.
They couldn't do anything.
Right, that would be the plus.
nice.
That would be the big plus. But I would rather just see. I really would rather see things get more granular to the point where we could like settle this Facebook war like at the end of the day. Like we could vote on something by the end of the day.
I think so too. I just the way that
But that's not what they want because it doesn't benefit them.
Yeah,
They don't want us getting all hot and bothered with our like pitchforks and shit.
Yeah, and they make too much money having us fight all day. Like there's so much more money in having us just constantly fighting with each other.
Yeah.
Like the news gets to report on it, the news gets to post tweets. Like that is the worst. Like we talked about this when we were on tour with Jack and Leslie about how Twitter is like 1% of the population. It's like nobody's on Twitter. Nobody. The only two people on Twitter in my friend group are me and Brett. And we make a living online. And that's the only reason we're on it, probably.
Yeah.
Also because I'm addicted to online. But me and Brett are the only two people we know. But this fucking site really does drive the discourse. Like you will see people yelling about something one day on Twitter and then the next day it's on the goddamn fucking news.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a matter of, wherever we, if important or influential people, lots of media figures spend their time there, and that makes it kind of important. Like, that's all that matters. It doesn't, like, you can't deem something important. It's only when it has attention is it important,
Yeah.
And that's a place where you can go on and kind of say, like, what the fuck are we really doing here? To somebody that, before never had to hear this shit.
It's like Dan Rather has to hear. Well, he doesn't now, but when Dan Rather was the guy, we thought Shocktober has been like a really interesting kind of look because all that stuff happened sort of pre-internet, pre-social media. You know what I mean? Some of it happened in the internet age, but kind of the heyday of it was pre that. We had this conversation about how like basically everything was so top down that all the stuff you got, you just assumed if you didn't like it, you were wrong about it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you? Like
Sure.
there were things, the way I'll just do it in the way we did on Shocktober is like, No Panties Thursday is lame as hell, right? And if Bubba the Love Sponge had gone on Twitter in 2018 and said, I'm launching No Panties Thursday, people would have been in the mentions within minutes saying this is dumb as shit, but it lasted 10 years on his show because nobody could tell him it sucked, or that it was boring,
Right.
And,
there was no response.
Yeah. And everything was like that back then. I think that's why I don't think entertainment's getting better, but I think it's like they understand better what we like and what we want.
Well, no, you just have the chance to pick and choose what you want.
To sift through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird to like the kids, the teens and stuff don't have like they have like Billie Eilish, I guess, but they're like the way I see Gwen listening to music is very strange because it's like It's not like a
See,
genre. She's not a genre kid, I guess.
We're very disjointed now.
Yeah, I kind of like
And there
it.
was like used to be on the it used to be like I would get up and have my coffee and watch the Today Show, and then like Billie Eilish would come out with a bunch of straps hanging off of her clothing, and I would spit it out and be like, "What the hell is this? Is this what Gwen's been listening to?"
So true.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was like when Stone Cold went on like Today Show and stuff. Like there used to be a real celebrity. We just are in it's in a different environment. It's whatever we want. Like, we can grab control, I guess, Even,
Yeah, I think there's still like a huge. There is like one. There
people are still
huge
watching The Masked
stuff.
Singer. People turned in from The Masked Singer.
Oh my
tonight.
God, it's crazy. We're recording during The Masked Singer,
Which is
and
a
my
bad
entire
idea.
Twitter is The Masked Singer. It's wild to me how much people are watching that show. But hey, I kind of like it because there was a period in time where we all sort of got along about one thing.
Sure.
Like Survivor. Remember that
Yeah.
first year of Survivor?
Oh, yeah.
Motherfucking nobody disliked each other during that first year of Survivor.
Just wanted to know who your favorites were.
I know. You'd be arguing. Oh, fucking Rudy. I hate that guy.
Right.
But everybody had like an opinion, and it wasn't so deadly serious. But then, like, now that we're all dispersed among all these different genres, like, prestige TV is a genre, right? And like, there are reality shows in that world, but they're all documentaries. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And like, we can just completely
avoid
close
it.
off from trash TV,
Yeah.
which we used to sit and fucking watch trash TV because we had to.
That was all that was around.
I know. I know.
There was no like you had to go sit on the computer and like stare at it and make it do stuff. It wasn't just like throwing shit at you constantly.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
you had to actually like go to a site to like you had to know something good to look at and like look it up. You know what I mean? Like
oh my God. Yeah. I mean, it's weird how we use the internet now, though, compared to back then. In that,
just gonna keep speeding up.
right? Well, that we only go to like 3 pages a day, mostly. Most people aren't doing a whole lot on
A lot
there.
of app stuff.
Yeah, and sites don't exist really. Like, I went to Korn site the other day because they just released a new album. There's nothing there. Like, they just released a new album, and you would think, like, back in the day, man, when you released a new album, the whole site went through an overhaul, and it was completely new, and there was like a new video and stuff. And then you go to the site now, and it's just like, go to our Facebook. What are you fucking doing?
This looks like it's themed for the album.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I went on there and it seemed very sparse, I guess. Korn.com.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, anymore, yeah, you aren't trying. Anymore. I mean, that's just not how we relate with people. I mean, it's the feed is where you can find all of the intimate stuff that people want to hear.
Yeah, all the good stuff. So, yeah. I mean, I like I said, it was, oh, well, it was one of those things that was like, somebody got flagged in our group. Oh no.
For what?
One of our posts. Let me see. Oh, there's none in there. I don't know why it said it was flagged. Sorry for whenever something like that happens, I just close Facebook, really, because there's a bunch of people there that can deal with that problem. I don't know why it looked. But let's do a news story here. How's that sound to you?
Yeah, I love it.
I think I got some extra stuff this week that I've been holding back for a few weeks.
Okay.
Saw this. I got 2 kind of contemporary news stories that people sent me or that I saw. A group of San Francisco neighbors came up with their own solution after they said the city wouldn't help them with the local homeless and drug dealer population, according to CNN affiliate KGO. They put boulders on the sidewalks. The group has been going to city meetings and filing reports with the city for 6 months, according to KGO, but they haven't had any luck. After a turf war one night, one of the residents told KGO the neighbors had enough. I got to the point where everyone was just done. People had knives and guns out, and people were fighting and carrying on and walking up in the neighborhood. Asking not to be identified, the residents told KGO a group of neighbors pitched in to buy 24 boulders that are now placed on their sidewalk to discourage the homeless from pitching tents. I mean, how do boulders do that? that though? Like where does the boulders?
Can you not walk there anymore?
You can walk there. They're just on near the curb. They just laid boulders along the curb. I guess probably no space for a tent is
Yeah.
what they're going for.
Right.
God, what a helly place San Francisco is. You know, I mean, it's to be fair, San Francisco gets a lot of shit, but the hostile architecture is everywhere.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
every city I go to has a shitload
right,
of it.
It's right down the road.
I know. Right on High Street in Columbus, Ohio, there are benches with the arm in the middle. All the benches have an arm in the middle downtown, which is great. What a wild thing. I think about that arm in the middle of the bench is like there so people can't sleep on it, and it like benches used to be a thing you took your best sweetie to and put your arm around her and snuggled up to, and you sat on the bench and you did some like people watching or whatever, or
Heavy
handed
petting?
her a present, or well, I mean, you don't have to do heavy petting, but you know, you can put your arm around your best sweetheart. You give them a box of chocolates or candy or roses or something
Sure.
like that, and you sit there and you watch the thing. Now there's an arm like right there in the middle of it. You can't even sit next to your best sweetheart. You know? And it's all just to keep people from laying down, which is you have to be a sick person to like even think of the ideas of like of being there is a person that sat down and said, I hate the idea that these people are laying down on benches. How can we stop that from happening?
Yeah, that's not really what happened, though. I mean, a bunch of regular citizens said we despise the homeless, and this is a problem, and someone has to fix it.
Yeah.
It's not just one angry person. It's this whole disgusting society that does it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's not just one person. The person did the design, but the society made the decision. I mean, what do they say? What do we do actually about people without homes if like we don't want them anywhere, you know? Like it's just something we used to have this conversation a lot about drug testing welfare recipients all the time, and it was like, well, okay, so what's the next logical step of drug testing welfare recipients and kicking them off of welfare if they fail a drug test? It's like then they can't buy food and then like they die. That's the point. Like, is that really because they're not? I mean, obviously they knew they were going to get drug tested and they didn't stop doing drugs.
Right.
You know?
There wasn't enough of a deterrent.
Yeah.
I don't know. There isn't the conversation isn't happening, and unfortunately, we have too many people. Like voting is the problem. This is like where voting gets us into an issue. The people that live here are not making the decisions about what goes on here.
That is true, and at least in Columbus, like a lot of the decisions that happen downtown are not made by us.
Our districts are so crazy cut up.
I know.
I had no idea until people started saying, hey, y'all need to look into this representative. He might be in your district. And I find out that, like, our district is like a pie. Like, they just come in and grab a little scoop of the city, and then they draw around a whole fucking suburb.
Right. We're not making we are not
There's
responsible
no central
for our
downtown
laws.
block. There's no downtown block.
And there should be, and not only should there be, but that is how, I really think that's how you solve a lot of this antagonism between people too. Because if you just let us run our fucking thing and let them run their thing, things would be a lot better. You know, maybe do it like in a bullseye system where the middle gets their block and then you do around that and then around that and then around that. Then a bunch of people with aligned feelings and interests are voting together.
Yeah. It's absurd.
It is. We don't make any decisions. I mean, at least in Columbus, I'm sure
feel
there
like
are places.
The whims of the country in Ohio still. Like, I feel like I'm not represented at all in this place.
You're not. You're absolutely not represented because it's it doesn't. You're not. What's the word? Like, your vote doesn't matter. Your representative is a Republican. Your governor is a Republican. Like, everybody that represents you is conservative, except for maybe people on the school board.
Right.
Because the school board is a Columbus institution. You know, it's like inside the city. But it is like the homeless people in some of these cities suffer because people that never encounter a homeless person get to make the rules about how we treat homeless people. Because I just don't know a lot of people that live in the city that have an enormous problem with them. You know, I mean, maybe the people that pay $500,000 a year or $500,000 for a condo they're out of like sort of my range, and I don't talk to them or understand them or know them, but I know that the people that I know are not clamoring to make life as uncomfortable as possible for homeless people.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and there's a solution there, you know, which is just give them homes.
Yeah.
Like the streets aren't like to the people that want them, that want shelter. I mean, I don't think the streets is enough of a deterrent, you know, like we've proven that now for a very long time.
Yeah.
Like how long is it going to go on?
Yeah. I mean, rent should just be, you just make it free for everybody. What the hell? Universal rent. The universal rent is the best idea we've come up since recreational hospital, which I think is also the best idea we've come up with since the Department of Policing and Sanitation. Those are maybe three of our best options.
I don't know. I still like cereal silos.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like
or even
good,
granola and trail mix too. Bulk silos.
Only like 3 or 4 kinds of cereal. Actually, we should talk about that because that was a really fun thing that happened over the weekend, wasn't it? Benny Johnson.
Very interesting, yeah.
Benny Johnson took a trip to Cuba, and
Benny Johnson is
he used to work for BuzzFeed. Fired for plagiarism. I believe now he works for the Daily Caller, which is just a conservative rag.
Sure.
You know what I mean? He's a conservative guy, you know. Journalist type, I guess. I mean, if you worked for BuzzFeed and the Daily Caller, I don't know if you're a journalist.
But I think, he gave BuzzFeed the character that it has, like the listicles and I believe he was in charge of a lot of that stuff, right?
Oh no, I thought he was just a writer there. I thought the guy, the Chelsea Peretti's brother.
Oh, is that who it is?
That shit. I don't know though. I'm not sure. But
BuzzFeed
Benny was his name. And Benny Johnson, he went to Cuba, and he went to take a trip. I don't know if he went to take a vacation or if he went to see how people are living down in Cuba, but he was sadly disappointed, and his entire vacation was ruined because they only had one brand of canned tomatoes. They only had one brand of televisions, and they only had one brand of, trying to think of what else he showed, blenders. And just things that you would never need more than one brand of ever, right?
Yeah. This was essentially him saying that it's really fucked up here. Cuba's really fucked up because when you go down the tomato aisle, it's just one brand. You know, you don't get to pick. You don't get to pick between Del Monte and Diavolo. You know?
Yeah. And you know what's funny? So I responded to that post and said I can't feel free. This was my response. I can't feel free unless there are 34 different kinds of tomatoes that exist. Okay.
Yes.
And you would be surprised at how many people love brands.
Oh, I bet.
Who responded to me and said, oh, well, I use different kinds of tomato paste for different things. And I was like, you wouldn't be if we lived in socialism.
You wouldn't need to do all that. That would just be gone.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, I'll say this.
And I've tried to convince you of this through Aldi, is that they are making tomato paste, and then they load up the Del Monte labels. They load up the Dole labels. They load them all up, and they just switch them out. And then eventually, at the end of the day, they do the GFS label. They just do the white can, and it's the cheapest one that they sell to manufacturers.
I actually don't believe that still, though, because, I mean, most of the stuff at Aldi is fine, but, their peanut butter cups don't taste like Reese at all.
Okay.
You know? And,
they probably don't have access to that recipe.
They don't have the Reese, right? So there are things
they do have others,
but I'll say
they
this.
have most everything else.
When I first started cooking a lot. So I started cooking when when I got
They
injured.
definitely got the Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
They got the
For
Girl Scout
sure.
cookies
That's
for
sad.
89 cents.
Feel bad for the Girl Scouts.
I know, they
in a way.
undercut the fuck out of
I mean,
them.
Keebler did it first.
Keebler did
You know,
do it
it's
first.
Keebler's fucking fault. What
Keebler
happened was
straight up.
yeah, they straight up were just like,
We'll do
I hear
it.
people like Girl Scout cookies.
Grasshopper, that sounds absurd. Chocolate and mint. Oh, you want that, but you can't have it right now? We'll make it.
That was so sad to me when I first saw it, when I walked in to the store and I first saw the Girl Scout cookie Keebler section.
Yeah.
And I looked and I was like, oh no,
Was-
Girl Scout cookies aren't special anymore.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares about them anymore.
No one's even throwing a fit. Like we should have like stomped them all out. We should have said like, this is unacceptable. We only buy these from Girl Scouts. Everybody was like, oh, finally, I don't have to fucking wait until the Girl Scouts. I don't have to put these in the freezer anymore.
I know. I mean, some things can just like be seasonal. I
They
think
can.
we
I
don't need to
think-
make those cookies all year.
I don't need them.
Yeah. I don't eat Samoas at all anymore. I don't eat
either.
any Samoas anymore because they've poisoned the well on the Samoa. It used to be so exciting to get the Samoas because there was no other kind of cookie like it. It was so exciting. I've had so many Samoas now. It's just like, fuck them. I just like couldn't care less about these cookies anymore
Can I pick-
because they're around all the time.
Can I make you mad?
What?
Kansas Beach Patrol in the chat says Justin's over Reese's.
Well, I mean, that's a fancy boy attitude, and it's
Yeah.
okay to be a fancy boy. But he worked at
The
a
organic
co-op
cacao.
too. And,
That's
you
true.
know, Justin's are shit.
I like
you know?
Justin's.
No, but they just don't
It's
taste
a little-
like Reese.
It doesn't taste the same.
Reese tastes.
But I don't think it's the best tasting.
Reese is the best tasting of the peanut butter cups. I mean, come on, it's great.
I mean, some of the knockoffs are fine.
can I say that
A
one
Buckeye is still okay.
let me just say that one of the best tasting.
Homemade Buckeye over Reese.
No.
Yes.
One of the best tasting
That's
desserts.
not Ohio of you.
In the history of the world, one of the best tasting. I think it might be my number 1 or 2 is the Reese Cup Blizzard. It's like number 1 or number 2. It's just an amazing flavor.
Those candy blizzards are horrible.
Shut it.
There's
Okay?
nothing there.
There's Reese Cups
It's
and
vanilla ice cream, and they poured a pack of candy in that. Anybody can do it.
I know it's good. It's good. It's great. But they get it mixed up right. You know, that's just, I mean,
No.
I'm not trying to fight about this. I'm just saying it's the best, one of the best desserts. And it's because of the Reese flavor. And people are going to yell at us for saying Reese. So anyway, do you think Cuba has Reese cups?
Probably not.
Ugh.
They
Well,
got, like,
I don't
they
care
got-
though. That's
They
the
got
thing.
Cubano cups.
What I was trying to say.
It's the same thing as Reese's, same formula, but that's not the name.
What I was trying
Which
to
means
say.
Brian will never be convinced.
I know. What they will taste different. You could do a blind taste test, and I'd be able to tell you which one's which for sure. Why don't
Just
you?
different packaging, but
why
you
don't
would
you
be able to tell
buy-
by the packaging.
No, if you bought Justin's and Reese's.
No, I'm talking about Cubano cups and
Well, yeah.
Reese cups.
Okay.
Which are the same, just different packaging.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying, if you bought them and then cut them, so
I
I
think-
couldn't tell which was which, I would know. I would still know and like the Reese better.
This has been established too that at this point, like under like an American Jesus type communism, like we would like Reese that we wouldn't bother making like Reese's substitutes. We would just get Reese's to everybody that wants fucking
yeah,
Reese's.
that's the
right?
way I think.
It's
It's like
like-
that's the maximum good brand.
It's like the Walmart. Yeah, it's like it's the thing with like also with Cuba with the blenders. It's like everybody should get a fucking Cuisinart. So that way they can keep it for 20 years and they don't have to buy one that shorts out or breaks because they bought it for 1916 on an end cap at fucking Walmart, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
we should just make the good like KitchenAid mixers. That's the only that's the state mixer for everybody. You can all access the attachments from the library.
Yeah. yeah. No, I'm with you, dude. I
Like, just stop making Bobo broke ass low quality horse shit just because we're paying people so little that they can't afford anything else.
well, something I've thought about, something I've been thinking about a lot lately is that when I started cooking back in probably like 2009 was about when I started like taking it seriously, because I cooked before, but I like didn't really know how, because I was me and my wife were both working full-time jobs, and we had a daughter, and it was just like I never learned growing up, which there's so many dudes out there that never learned.
Oh no, that was very.
They just
I didn't
never
either.
picked it up.
I
I had
didn't
no
either.
idea. I was afraid to cook beef until 2009.
I was never required to cook, and if I sometimes I would volunteer and then I would like give up halfway through, and it was never a problem.
Yeah, nobody ever showed me either. Nobody ever called me, pulled me aside and said, like, here's how you make anything beyond like macaroni and cheese and a grilled cheese sandwich, you know. But when I started cooking, I found it very important to buy the most expensive ingredients. Now, the ingredients that are more expensive are good, usually. They're maybe better. A lot of times it depends on what you're buying, because there are times where they're not better. But I've found...
pasteurized cheese product still rates pretty high.
Yeah, I've found, though, in the years that I've been cooking, and, like, I know a lot of people that are very good at cooking. I'm a pretty good cook, you know? That when it comes to things like tomatoes, like canned tomatoes and stuff, it doesn't matter.
You have to bring it. The tomato's not going to do the work for you.
I know.
This is a tomato that was picked 19 months ago, and has been sitting in a warehouse and in the dark for months. You have to do it. You have to make it the star of the show. It's not going to like turn around your fucking marinara. You have to add your own spices and seasonings and shit. You gotta,
right.
Yeah.
Well, the things
grill some peppers and onions and shit to throw in there.
Pointing that out, his tweet actually said to send those pictures to AOC and Bernie Sanders to show them what socialism looks like. Because, again, he's saying that there's no freedom of choice over there. But I feel like there isn't really one here. They just put a different cartoon man on all the boxes, or woman, you know, or non-binary person, or fucking bear, or rabbit, or a fucking frog. Like, everything's made out of the same shit.
Yeah.
You know? The tomato aisle could, honestly, the aisle with the fucking canned tomatoes could all be the same thing. And, like, if you went tomorrow and all they had was the store brand tomatoes, nobody would complain. Not a single person would be mad about it.
Yeah.
Nobody would be mad if there was only one brand of canned green beans.
Especially, I mean, and it even is like, so people, maybe someone's family recipe they turned into a goddamn marinara business or something is fine. But so much of that, if you rip the label off of it, it is the same. It comes from the same place.
Yeah, we don't fucking need
all the canned stuff.
Yeah, we don't need like
shit.
We don't need 15 low budget versions of tomato sauce, because they're all pretty much the fucking same thing, you know? Look, I buy $9 jars of fucking tomato sauce when I make pasta, because it's like kind of the star of the show, and I feel like it has to taste good.
I buy the Carfagnas. I do
too. That's what I buy. We in the Carfagnas. We're the Basilico.
Mark's had it on. I do the Basilico Pomodoro.
Yeah, that's the one I buy, and I buy it because it tastes good or whatever. But again,
Mark's has the best deal on
socialism
it.
wouldn't stomp out people making their own thing and selling it, and that's what I'm buying when I buy that. That's just a local fucking butcher shop making an old family recipe of tomato sauce and selling it. And nobody's saying that shit is gonna go away. People are still gonna make things, and people are still gonna sell things, and you're gonna be able to get, there's nothing you're not gonna be able to get. It's just, we don't need all this extra shit. We don't need 15 different brands of TV.
But then we have to come to the acceptance that there are people at Del Monte, there's people at Dole, there's people at Green Giant that are coming up with ad campaigns on how to make tomatoes sexy again.
Yes.
Right?
Remember the mayo ones?
They're like, can we get a tomato emoji added? Could we turn it into like the front butt or something?
Do you remember the mayos? Remember when they were like, mayo was for teens, and like they had like these hip Brooklyn people on a rooftop, and
was that
they were like
Miracle
up
Whip?
there? Miracle Whip.
I thought it was it Miracle Whip or mayo?
I mean, they're the same thing to me because I don't eat either, you know. But I know they're different.
I think it was Whip.
Yeah, Miracle Whip, right?
Yeah.
Miracle Whip, Miracle.
I mean, Miracle Whip is more in line with like the ironic, like bad food, like ketchup and hot dogs and macaroni and cheese and shit, right?
But yeah, but what I'm saying, I get what I get worrying about losing, because I feel like they are worried about losing stuff.
Yeah.
That they find to be important, but none of that is going to happen.
But they're filling that's the thing, is that in America you get to fill your life with moments where you're proud of your tomato sauce, so that way you can avoid how little you're accomplishing. So that you can avoid that you go and sit in a building and try to figure out how to make new packaging for soap that people have been buying for 100 fucking years. You have to make new packaging for this month that has different iridescent paints on it or something, or a partnership with DuPont for a new 3M coating to catch people's eye. You know, like we have people running in fucking circles. Like people are just running themselves ragged, trying to sell shit that takes care of itself. It was like, I know what to do with this. You don't have to tell me on the back. You don't have to suggest like what to do with this at all. Just, I know, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just not, I guess, like, the way food works, right, is we just need to eat and feed each other, right? And a lot of really great stuff can happen with very few ingredients. Yeah. And everything else that we're doing is waste. And it's problematic. It's burning down the Amazon, you know?
Well, and like, you know, and we do things like Whole Foods bakes bread so that it always looks like there's this gigantic bounty of bread, so that you come around the corner and you're like, oh, look at all this bread. But it's like they're only doing that as a display, but they're literally growing fucking plants, baking bread, and then pitching it.
They're throwing it in trash.
They're using it as like advertising material. Yes. They're using it as if it's like made of plastic.
Yes, absolutely.
Like
they are throwing them in the trash.
It's a costume. That's not like, we don't sell the bread. We don't sell that bread here. We display that bread here.
Like, they should only be able to make enough TVs for 1/4 of the population every year.
No, they should just, you gotta put it in order when you need one. And then they fire it up and you have to wait until they make it.
You should just be allowed to buy one every 4 years, I guess. Is that that's even too much, right?
4 is too much.
That's too much. Every 10 years?
When it goes out. I think you have to bring in a broken TV. The only way you get a new TV is if you bring a motherfucking broken one.
I'm good with that, because I do that. I'm a good boy.
Every citizen gets one TV to rot their brain with, and if you bring in a broken one, you get a replacement.
Hey, listen, I broke a fucking I watched a TV with a blown speaker for like 4 years. So I'm fine with it. I'm good, dude.
When I was like 16 on a Black Friday, I got like a 19-inch all-in-one DVD VHS TV, and I watched it from 17 to 27. That was my TV.
And my wife,
your friend Adam, who we know, he gave me the first TV like that I got that wasn't that fucking thing.
That's so funny. Me and my wife watched TV on 2 19-inch, the big boys, like the big wide boys.
Yeah.
Until God damn, it was like 2006 when I bought my first like big flat screen, and then after that it was like, I think I've had like 5 TVs in my adult life, which is probably too many, but like some of them were hand-me-downs, you know? Like my last big plasma screen TV was a hand-me-down with blown speakers.
I gotta say, as part of the Brett Payne charm and personality package is that I hang around with a lot of people that have expensive stuff, and they're just like, oh, I'm upgrading my TV this week. And I'm like, well, what are you doing with that sweet old one you got? And they're like, oh, you want it? And I'm like, yeah, I fucking want it. How much? I got a great deal on my TV in Dallas. The TV I own now is the first one that I went to the store and proudly and awkwardly carried the box out myself. You know, tried not to fucking bang a corner. Didn't ask for help. Didn't ask for a cart.
You should never ask for help with that kind of thing, because it's so annoying.
I fucking bought this myself.
It's
like if you kill a 400-pound deer, you gotta drag it home. It's the same fucking thing. It's just primal shit.
Oh,
you're just acquiring screens for the family, you know?
You want to get a little bit annoyed with me?
Sure.
So yesterday, I got a text from a really good friend of mine that I did not respond to, but she does listen to this show. So I apologize for not responding. Something got away from me. I was about to record Shocktober. I was busy. There was a free washer sitting out on the curb by her house. But I have 2 washers in the basement, dude.
Well,
I gotta get rid of those washers.
Once you start saving money, you can start you could take the money that you're spending at the laundromat and put that towards paying someone to get the washers out. Because you're asking for like a white glove service on those washers.
That's what I'm asking for sure. Like, not only white glove, but I wish they could do it like, okay, so tomorrow, my wife was driving home from your house today, and rock hit her windshield. It hit the windshield and put a little boy in it, you know?
A little boy,
like a little hole,
Yikes.
You know? And I called my insurance, which I have look, I'm going to tell you this right now. The difference between the Cadillac car insurance and the bad car insurance is like $15 a month. So I just went, because it was going to be $90. And then I like changed all my deductibles to $50 and then added all the extra stuff, and it was $107. And I was like, yeah, I'll pay the $107. And so I called, I went and I did a claim online for my windshield, and they're not going to charge me for a repair. And also guy, gal, or non-binary power, a person is going to come to my house while I'm asleep.
Oh, I love that.
And they're just going to fix my windshield without ever talking to me.
Yeah, they developed that shit a while ago. I love that when it happened.
That's what I want for the washers.
Yeah, I had someone. Okay. Yeah. So you would pay a monthly premium for how would you put it, like
work
disaster insurance for your life.
Right. Yeah.
So there would be certain moments like there's a large piece of furniture. I mean, what's other big, like my water heat.
I have a bunch.
Would that just be part of homeowners insurance?
It should be, because I plugged my tire yesterday.
Help. There's 2 washers stuck in my basement. I need to make a claim. Right. Someone
there was a fucking screw in my tire for like 2 weeks, and we kept having to fill it, you know, and I'm too cheap to buy a tire, so I plug them. And I plugged my tire yesterday. It took me 11 minutes to get it done. My wife like timed it because I'd been putting it off for a month. Like, I just filling the tire, and then she was just like, I keep getting up and the tires is flat and I gotta go fill it. And I'm like, fine, I'll do it. And so I plugged the tire yesterday. I would have loved it if I had some sort of thing that I paid like $40 a month, and then I could just get on the phone and be like, hey, I need somebody to plug my tires. I got all the stuff here. And then they just come and do it and leave. And like somebody that could, like I said, I could call on you if I need I like it. I could call on you if I need the washers moved. I could call on you if I need, I don't know, man. Like sometimes
you should offer it.
Yeah, we should.
You should.
I
would love to see you on an infomercial in the middle of the night. Hey, folks, my name's Brian Quinby, host of Street Fight Radio. Do you ever find yourself with 2 washers in the basement that you don't know what to do with? That sounds like a disaster.
Again, I have a TV,
You'd like to have some insurance against a situation like that.
I also have a TV I've been trying to get rid of for a lot, not actively, but one time on Craigslist, I was like, free TV.
And a bunch of flakes contacted you?
No, nobody contacted me. They're like, I took a picture of it. That
probably hurt your self-esteem.
That was like a 300 fucking pound TV, dude. I mean, nobody wanted it because everybody's getting rid of those. And that is something that I look at sometimes when I go downstairs. And that is what reminds me of the environmental disaster that capitalism in the world we live in is, because those 2 washers and that fucking TV are like on my back. I feel like they're on my back all the time. My wife brings them up sometimes and she's like, we should get rid of that TV downstairs. And I'm like, but then we would have to carry it and that would be a whole thing. And it's just like, I have 2 mattresses right now in my dining room that I've been trying to get rid of.
You can't call yourself big and powerful if you can't pick up a TV.
I don't want to pick up a TV. It's not that I can't. It's that I could pick up the TV. With a little help, obviously, I would need another person. And I can physically do it. But I don't want to. It's just, where does it go? It's heavy. It's exhausting. And
Why do you get up in the morning then?
Because I like being alive and stuff.
But don't you want to? You have to also kind of deal with what you did here. Like that's part.
I didn't
of
do
it.
anything. I just bought a TV.
You put those things in your basement.
Well, yeah,
you gotta drag them out.
You know, that's been a thing. That's something we should talk about a little bit. I'm gonna stop putting stuff in the basement.
Yeah, keep it out.
Because
I'm cleaning my basement out too. I'm not saying this as someone with a spotless basement. I have a hellish basement where I keep things that I think are worth tons of money. But I have been cleaning it out. But yeah, do not put shit in the basement.
I mean, the basement is a really good illustration of the giant garbage ball in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah. I mean, it is delaying the inevitable. It's like either it sits in your basement or it sits on the south side of town in a fucking dump until rust takes it away.
Sure, yeah. So it's not really that big of a deal that it's in the basement. But at some point, and maybe when you're in the rush to move out of your house, you have to deal with it instead of just dealing with it now. You know? Like it's better to deal with it as it comes, you know? Which I'm not doing. Totally failing at. But it would be better if I dealt with it as it comes. I can't do it. I don't know.
I failed the project. I was like, I had a lot of other stuff to do today, and I'm not going to take care of your washers for you, I don't think. Well, I wish I could.
Everybody was saying, like, everybody was asking for an update on it, and I said, oh, man, you know,
we'll see. We'll work on it.
I'm not doing it. I can't.
have it shouldered. I can get it out.
I don't want you to come over and fucking do it. That'll make me feel guilty.
Yeah.
My wife would fucking hold that over my head for the rest of my life. Oh, Brett came over and moved the washer for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, that might be what it takes.
Might be advantageous.
That's going to kick you in the butt.
I don't know, man. You know, she worries so much about that basement. I don't think about it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's nothing... You don't really need to utilize it. I mean, you do need a working washer and dryer more than anything, though.
It would be nice.
The amount of money to go pay is absurd.
It would be nice. Yeah, and I'm kind of broke right now, so I'm sitting on a big pile of dirty laundry right now.
That's an interesting sitch.
But I get paid tomorrow.
I know those days.
Get paid tomorrow, so I get to go do the laundry tomorrow. I don't like doing it. Like, the way we're doing the laundry now is so bad and pathetic, because it is like you fill it all up in a basket, you wash it, then you take it home, and then you have to keep switching it into the dryer. And it's so heavy when it's all wet.
What?
That's how we do it.
Stop it.
That's how we do it. I can't.
You don't pay for drying?
No, I'm not paying for drying. I'm cheap, dude. Like, you know I'm cheap. Drying is expensive. It's like 25 cents for 5 minutes.
I mean, I'm breathless right now.
It's just the way things work, dude. I couldn't do it.
I've never been in that sitch. I do not. I mean, we have to. So I feel like something has to be done here to solve this situation, because you're gonna keep me up all night long.
I'm gonna just
think now that I think that. How long have you been doing this?
Oh, like 3 or 4 since it was cold. It was cold.
It's almost cold again.
I know.
It's almost cold. It was cold this motherfucking morning.
Trust me. I know.
6 months?
Yeah, I would say probably about
April?
6 months I've been doing it. Yeah. It happened before one of the tours. So it probably was,
like WrestleMania time?
Probably WrestleMania time is what I would guess.
April.
Yeah, in April. So
yowzers. Good
yeah,
God.
I mean, we're used to it. We're soldiers in my house. We're very strong soldier type people. So we just handle it. The only time I really feel super bad about it is when we're on tour and my wife has to do it that way.
Yeah,
I do it. I don't care.
Listen, that's shitty. We're like, yeah.
I'm willing to take on any sort of burden as long as I don't have to spend money, right? Like, so like, I don't want to spend whatever it costs to get a new washer, but I will take the burden of doing all of that stuff just so I don't have to spend whatever money it's going to cost to buy the new washer all at one time.
Yeah, I do have to reveal also that my wife stopped doing the laundry at our place because the bulbs burned down over here. And I bought replacements and I put them in and they would turn on and they would go click, 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 click. And then they would break. And so I just grabbed them and screamed like fuck and just like bashed them against the walls. And I paid like $45 for the light bulbs. And she's like, when do you get the replacements for those? And now all in my mind, and I'm like, I already spent $45 on that. So they're
not gonna do it.
It's just not until we leave is when that's going to get taken care of. I've grown very comfortable with doing laundry in the dark.
With you, man. I'm the same way, dude.
Fine. Like, we already put, that's a money pit. If we buy more light bulbs, we're losing. That's a money pit.
That's chasing good money with bad money, or
Yes.
whatever that thing
Yes.
is, you know? I did the same thing. I have a chandelier. It's not an expensive chandelier, okay? Before you start getting crazy, it's the one that came with the apartment. But I have one of those chandeliers in my dining room. And like I if it were me, I would have put just a light in there.
Yeah.
But my landlord said, let's put a chandelier in here. It has 4 separate little light bulbs that you put in there. And fucking 3 of them got to be burned out before I even start thinking about replacing it. And the fucking whole room, we'll be sitting in a room eating, and it's like almost dark. And there was this one light working, and Katie's just like, you got to fix this. You got to fix these fucking things. And I don't keep light bulbs in the house.
Yeah.
You know? Probably should.
Yeah, you should.
I don't keep anything in the house.
I mean, they're like onions at this point. I just buy light bulbs in bulk to get the best deal on them.
I did that with batteries recently. It's like the best thing I ever did in my life.
Yeah.
Like, this is the smartest thing I ever did.
There's some you can plug into the wall and reuse.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. That initial investment is a lot.
I'll hook you up.
Those.
That's a common Brett Payne Christmas gift is the starter kit for rechargeable batteries.
But I don't use them.
I've given it to 2 people now.
I only use them for my remote controls.
That's enough. That's better than buying them all the time.
I think batteries are like useless now. Like, hardly anything takes batteries.
I have a child and I probably use 4 dozen batteries.
Yeah, we don't do that.
I have Halloween decorations that are in rotation. I have
true.
all kinds of shit. Yeah, I have wireless fucking mice.
I wouldn't let my daughter
4 of them in the house.
I wouldn't let my wife buy I honestly wouldn't let my wife buy those. Like battery powered Halloween decorations. I'd be like, nope, we ain't getting those. Sorry.
I think the Anyloop is the best brand, and they're reliable, and I have no complaints. I think the Rayovacs are shitty. The like CVS corner ones suck, but if you
I bought the Aldi ones,
the Sony ones or the Anyloops, either of those are good.
Yeah. So somebody sent me a story right before we recorded tonight.
That's ENELOOP.
No, it's ENLOMNNOO. I don't want to give them any free publicity or anything.
Why want people to use rechargeable batteries?
Okay, well, I'll allow it. I heard a good story about what I would consider to be a small business non-tyrant.
You know what?
What?
I'm gonna give this show a shot in the arm. This episode of Street Fight Radio is sponsored by Ivanovich menthol tobacco flavored vodka. The smooth flavor of Ivanovich menthol tobacco flavored vodka is one that I enjoy.
So,
let's do it.
CEO, boss.
Woo, it's been a minute.
We are evil to boss. Well, bosses are evil. We're the good guys, right? We don't like bosses.
I'm a bad boss. I'm an evil boss.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not. But anyway, you're actually not. You're nice like me.
I hate paying people.
Bosses. Yeah, but the people are very nice to us. We're nice to them. We don't yell at them or anything like that, and we don't. I'm nice. I feel like I'm nice. I feel like you're nice. All right. If you have to work, and most of us do, we found a man who may be the perfect boss. Gravity Payment CEO Dan Price just gave his lowest earning employees in Idaho making $40,000 a year a $10,000 raise. Within 5 years, their salary will increase to $70,000.
Whoa.
The Seattle-based credit card processing company recently acquired a competitor in Idaho, and Price wanted to give his new employees a warm welcome. In 2015, he announced a minimum salary of $70,000 for his entire Seattle office and cut his own own salary to $70,000.
Tight.
Price said he was sick of being part of the problem of income inequality and wanted to be part of the solution.
Tight.
His employees were grateful. And in 2016, they all pitched in and bought him a Tesla. Well, don't do that. I mean, that's like too much. But
I don't know, man. But that's the thing, though, is like, seriously, once you make $70,000 a year, it's like, dog, let's go on for a Tesla for that dude. And like, yeah, you can peel off a couple $100 for somebody, right? I mean, that's what happens when people get that amount of money. They're instantly like, let's start giving fucking crazy gifts and shit.
I know. It's true.
I do it.
I mean,
all the time. My wife hates it, but she loves it. But like, if somebody wants something, I'm like, you know, just buy it. She's like, that's $100. I'm like, no, it'll be great though. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I guess
Share
you're right. Wealth. It's like just showing how generous people really are when they're not like being.
Well, yeah, when they're not counting every fucking penny.
Yeah.
When like every dollar isn't like one that they're gonna pay with somebody today, but also promise for someone tomorrow, you know?
Right. And they shorten
double counting their motherfucking money.
They shortened the article up or something, so I can't give you but there was other information earlier that when I read it, so I want to throw it in there. So this guy, he was making whatever millions of dollars. And he said, I don't think I deserve more than everybody else in Seattle.
But he does get to keep that. He's got all that money to retire on.
Oh, I know. He was making the millions of dollars, right? Like, so he's fine. He does have millions of dollars. It's not like he's broke.
One of my oldest friends said one time that, like, once you make it to the top of the company, that the goal should be to work your way back down to the bottom, so that by the time you retire, you're just working as like the cashier, right?
Well, I don't get it,
but like to down, like you achieve.
You achieved, and then you're like, okay, now.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, like there is you have to stop. Like people are talking about billionaire is absurd, but million, is something that's still. You can kind of make a big impact if you get a couple $1 million together. You can change the way a community like funding works. You can build a library or school, or you can do stuff with millions of dollars.
Right.
And say somebody was to like be, that level of to get to that point. It's just like, I mean, just stop worrying. Just like walk away from it. Let somebody else take over. Like, there's no genius. Nobody has it right forever. I do believe that someone can steer the ship, but we talked about it we did talk about this last week exactly. In that, like, wait, I'm the CEO. Well, I'll do CEO stuff, and $70,000 is fucking sweet. I can order out food whenever I want. My house is paid for. Right?
Yeah.
What do you have to complain about?
All right. Right.
Your car fucking works. Your car payment works. You can pay for the Cadillac insurance. You got the extra $17 for that good insurance.
I actually think that even like if there should be just a minimum amount that you have, I guess, like in a way where it's just like, look, or a maximum. There should be definitely like a maximum wage, but it's just kind of like. Everybody, I think, and this is just my guess, this is how I've always felt. Everybody just really kind of wants $500 more than they have.
Yeah.
That's all anybody wants. Like at any time,
some people need I don't know.
Or need more. What I'm saying is, I said that wrong. I think most people want $500 more than they need. I guess would be... what I think. So like
$500 more than what people need would be a very paltry sum compared to what like one person owns.
Yeah. And I think that $500 more than what I need seems perfect. Like I don't need more than that. I think that's perfectly fine. And I think everybody should have $500 more than they need. We should figure out an amount that you need to live that is serious and honest. And then just be like, all right, now we give you $500 more and, still have social services and all that stuff. But like, I've always just felt like just a little bit more would make my life immeasurably better. I'm not asking for a bunch more, I just need a little bit more because I don't have enough. I don't have enough to live comfortably yet.
And I've explained, like, I'm looking for a house now and totally going to, like, gentrifying neighborhoods and all that stuff just because I have no idea. It's just on an app. They show me a house and I don't know what I'm showing up to. But, like, in those neighborhoods, there's no reason to kick those people out. If they had fucking $70,000 a year, their shit would look just as nice as everybody else's, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, it's not it's a matter of, like, of distribution of resources. Those people are working. They're working, struggling to get by, and living in places that are falling apart. And, like, our response is to let them fall apart to the point where someone can come in, some disaster capitalist can come in and buy a place and flip it, you know, because a million fucking TV shows and seminars from Shark Tank hosts happen about how real estate is the best investment, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm here, and like being a part of this, like I'm already hearing that, like, oh, you know, Facebook and Amazon and Google are all going to open up offices here. So the thing's about to change. This is a neighborhood in transition. It's happening.
I hate that
word. It is happening. Like, it's going to happen to us. Yeah.
Facebook is opening up here?
I don't know. I didn't look up Facebook, but somebody told me it was.
I don't like this at all. So, but we usually get turned down from that stuff, though. And I don't know. I think that stuff's all end up in Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh is the place where all that happens, right?
Yeah. Facebook is building a $700 million data center in Ohio, in New Albany, just outside Columbus.
That's outside.
Right, but that still brings in people that can buy fucking condos.
You're right. And they don't want to live in the suburbs.
Yeah, and they can waste a lot of money.
But I wanted to say that this dude, though, that gave the raises, also, I thought it was very cool of him to let the people in Boise make the same amount as the people in Seattle. Like, he set them up that in 5 years they'll all be making a minimum of $70,000 a year.
Yeah.
And the original article had interviews with some of the employees, especially some of the employees like kind of at the bottom level of the place that were making $40,000 a year. And oh man, they were so grateful, and they were so happy.
I mean, that changes your attitude about work. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they want people to come in there and be proud and own it as a family. If I know that's what my future is, like, I am happy to do that. Like, I will show up and be grateful. I'll do all the extracurriculars. If I know you're planning on paying me something that will make sure that I'm comfortable and not stressing over money like every minute of the day.
Right.
It's incredible. Like that kind of a promise, or that kind of an increase in pay is just unheard of.
Yes, I know. It's something
we're scraping it out. Like, I remember talking to bosses about getting like 24-cent raises and being like, "Do you think you could do 27?" And they're like, "It's just not in the budget right now."
Right. They never give you even $1 an hour.
No,
it's not even like something.
No, I've never talked. I mean, I got $1 an hour, I think, when I did heavy equipment training at a warehouse. But other than that, like, it was fighting for 75 cents.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so unfair. I can't find the story and I didn't paste it, but I want to talk about something I saw about an Ohio court case recently where a guy sued his employer for, I don't remember what the word, retaliatory firing. He got fired, he thinks, because the employer didn't like something that he did, you know, like you can I guess you can sue for that. So he did. And this guy sues his employer for firing him. And the explanation that they gave was here was the issue. Here's why he got fired. He had a shoulder injury where he had intermittent FMLA days. Okay. And that meant that there were times where he would maybe be off for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Because his shoulder's fucked up and he has to go do shoulder stuff.
Right.
Okay. He started taking vacation around those days, which anybody would do. Anybody would do. So what the company did was they hired a private investigator to follow him around, and they caught him golfing twice, and they fucking fired his ass.
That's crazy.
It sucks,
I mean,
right?
that's,
It reminds
dude,
me
I mean,
of...
no, that's definitely. I mean, that sounds like being on a smoke break, something that you would make up. Like, oh, you know, those motherfuckers would hire a private investigator to chase you down. You ever try to do something
I don't
like
know.
that?
The truth is,
I mean, that's that is just fucking so hilariously tragic.
the truth is, like, when I was on workman's comp, I constantly worried about a private investigator.
I'll tell you
following
what.
me.
You know why it doesn't surprise me? Because when I was a kid, I used to go down to the flea market, and there was a teddy bear lady there. And the teddy bear lady got written up in the newspaper. And then we found out that the teddy bear lady was on disability and that she was not supposed to be doing any kind of work. And it like made her ineligible. Fucking teddy bear lady got taken down.
It happened to my mom too recently.
So I already knew about it. That was like as a kid. That was like when we were 7. They were like, yeah, she got in trouble. I was like, what do you mean in trouble? They're like, yeah, she doesn't get her checks anymore. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's bullshit.
It is.
It's fun. They did it to my mom too, who was like cleaning houses. She was supposed to be on disability for something that she has. I don't talk to her very much, but she was supposed to be on disability for something, and she was doing like short shifts at a pizza shop, just like kind of answering the phones and checking people out and stuff. And somehow they found out, and they took her a payments away, and she had to fight to get them back and then quit the job. You know, she like quit the job and then had to fight to go back and get them. It's like, look at her. She can't work.
Yeah.
Okay? Like anybody, I know you all don't know my mom, but trust me.
The moment you met her.
Yeah. If you met her, you would just say like, just give her money to like stay away. You know?
Right.
Just give her money to not go to work. Because but I found that but when I was on workman's comp, because when I was growing up on the local news and on like 2020, I believe, I don't remember, it was one of those news magazine shows, they used to have like a segment where they would find people that were on workman's comp, and then they would fucking follow them around and catch them on jet skis and shit. You know what I mean? And then they would jump out of the car and fucking be like, what are you doing riding a jet ski when you're on workman's comp? And I used to fucking watch that, and it messed my fucking brain up. I was on workman's comp for a year and a half, and I went bowling once with a broken wrist. I had a broken wrist, and I went bowling, and I was like, I'm fucking, they're coming to get me, you know? I sat waiting for that phone call for the whole day. I waiting for some guy to come in with like some workman's comp enforcement badge and just pull it out and say, we're taking it away from you. But it was like, I felt like I could bowl, you know? Like it wasn't a big deal.
My dad was a bricklayer, so he was constantly talking to or friends with or telling me about people that were trying to get some sort of workman's comp, and this one dude got driven insane. Like, he said that to the point where they kept denying his claim, and he showed up to court like a sweaty fucking mess with his hair just like sticking out from everywhere, and was just like, he's just like, I stopped, like, I'm done, like, I don't want to do it anymore, you've convinced me, like, you're killing me with this, like, I'm gonna be done with this, you're driving me insane. And they were like, all right, I guess I guess you proved your point, you know, now that you've shown up in the courtroom in sweatpants covered in, you know,
dude, when I was on workman's comp, so you have to get looked at, I think every 6 to 8 months or something like that. You have to go to their doctor, and they send you to a doctor, and you go in there, and he spends 2 minutes looking at you, and he's mean to you, and then he sends you out of the room. And like, you don't know what the end result of it's going to be. You don't know if he's going to say, well, he seems fine enough to work. And like, when I went to the doctor, I was still in pain, right? Because a broken wrist hurts, and I was going through physical therapy and stuff, and I was off the pain pills by then, but I was still like, I just didn't like a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And I went, and I thought, man, you know how my brain is, where like, it's always constantly the worst case scenario for me, and I always just think that. And the doctor was just so mean to me. He was like real rough with my wrist and stuff like that. But so I was just like, I was like humiliated by the whole experience, right? Like it was actually humiliating. I felt like I was.
You went to a different doctor?
It was their doctor. It was
and you just showed up, he checked your wrist?
Yeah, I went to a different doctor, and there was a room full of, basically it was like a room full of people that look like me. That
it was just hurt guys.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of hurt like
guys
blue collar dudes
that get hurt on the job.
Yeah, so it was like construction workers and like electricians.
Was there like plastic tarps separating the room? Was it like a real room, or was there like...
Yeah, like you walked into it wasn't a real room. You like walked into like, so you know how when you go into
like
the emergency
more
room,
like a cattle pen, maybe something closer to like how cows are milked.
It was like really humiliating. Everybody in that office, everybody that worked in the office was very mean, and they kind of like just. It felt like they were like pushing you around.
Yeah, they were annoyed.
You know what I mean?
They had to process you. They thought of you as someone they had to process, and they were just like, "Fuck, get out of my face." You're just, yeah,
and it just felt like, I don't know, man. It gave me these feelings like I was begging for money in a way for doing nothing, but it was like, no, I pay into this, and I did get injured at work, like. I deserve this.
Yeah,
but at the time, I wasn't a leftist. I probably didn't have any class consciousness or anything. So like the whole time I was there, I kind of felt like I didn't deserve the money I was getting. The whole time I was on workman's comp, I had this just like nagging thing of not feeling like it was fair, or not that it wasn't fair, but that it was just like some generous charitable thing that somebody was giving me money to not go to work, you know?
Right.
So, you know.
Despite breaking your wrist on the job after getting robbed.
Right. And you spend your time thinking like, well, they can just take this away anytime they want. That's what it feels like. That's what it felt like the whole fucking time for me. Like after a year, actually, I think it was a year, they stopped paying me. Insight, the cable company stopped paying me, and it reverted over to workman's comp, and they paid you like 80% of your wages, but they didn't take taxes out. So you basically like got the same amount that you were making or whatever. And, but during the time that it was happening, it really does something to a person's brain, I guess. Like I had never gotten unemployment. I had never gotten kind of anything like that. And my heart goes out to anybody that's fucking dealing with like the Bureau of Workman's Comp or the unemployment office, because after that experience, like that was such a humiliating experience. And it really did feel like kind of going hat in hand.
Yeah.
To a place, you know, and the whole time you're on it, you feel like you're being watched or that you can get in trouble for the things that I was describing earlier. So it is a really weird fucking feeling, you know?
Well, no, I mean, when you file for unemployment, like when I talk to Square people, they really believe that someone's going to check whether or not they applied for jobs.
I know.
There's people that are like, no, I kept a spreadsheet the whole time I was unemployed. Made sure I was ready if they showed up.
What is the process? I've never been on unemployment. Do you know the process, or have you done it?
Well, I mean, back in the day, it was you had to call and say, hey, I'm still unemployed. But now you can just go online and just say I'm unemployed. But you usually have to also... I don't know. I haven't been on unemployment in a long time, but the last time I was on it, you had to guarantee that you would apply to 2 jobs that week.
Okay, so you have to tell them.
Yeah, you have to promise to like be applying for jobs the whole time.
Is there?
And I never did.
A requirement of proof?
No, there's nothing. No. It's a matter of like, they just know that poor people are so honest and trustworthy that if you say that, that's going to shame 80% of people into doing it. For real. Like there are not many dirtbags like me that were like, oh, that's supplemental income. Like that was my UBI when I was an eBay seller. Like when I got my fucking, when I lost my job.
Yeah.
I was not applying for jobs at all, but I did meet people that said like, no, I have a spreadsheet with a PDF copy of every fucking application I filled out, and I'm like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
That is too far. But people are good. I mean,
No, people don't lie because they feel like they don't deserve it.
You feel hat in hand.
Yeah. It's a really weird
It is
feeling.
like Erica. I mean, Erica couldn't even get through it. Erica lost her job, and I was like, you have to file for unemployment. I'm like, she's like, what does that mean? I'm like, you sign online every fucking Monday or whatever when they open it up the goddamn gates, and you go and put your info in there and say, hey, I'm not employed this week again. She didn't even fucking make it. Like, she didn't get it. Like,
Right.
We just made do.
When I got
until she got a job quickly enough, but like it was. I mean, she was just not even compelled to do it.
Well, the max that they pay you for a week is $424. I just looked it up. So that's the maximum you can make per week. You have to have earned an average of at least $237 a week during the base period. So you can get unemployment from firings, layoffs, or it says if you quit your job, but if you quit your job, you won't be eligible for unemployment.
I want to know what's up with unemployment.
Yeah. Hey, if you're on unemployment and you feel like talking about it, you should call in on the call-in show, because I'd be interested. But it is really depressing to think about, like, how badly they make you feel for doing these things. And I mean, 26 weeks.
You know what? It's just, I mean, the government, society, the way we organize things just lacks all perspective. I think that there's no, like, it's crazy that there's 70, the only people that we choose to run our government are fucking 70-year-olds.
Yeah.
But there is no, like, wisdom at all. Mm-hmm. There's no long point of view where it's like, okay, Brian got robbed at gunpoint and broke his wrist. Life is long. His career is long. If we want him to be a part of this until he's out of here, he's going to be here for 2 or 3 more decades. We can take the time to spend a year and a half or 2 years for his recovery. You know, like, these things just are commodified to the point where it's like, I mean, I know someone that was like addicted to cocaine for a decade, and they've completely turned their life around, and it's not even different. They're 55 now, and that was 30 years ago. But their life isn't even the same. Like, we don't have any acknowledgement of like the how much is going to happen, you know, and how many different chapters there are in life. And when it comes down to injuries and things like that, it is like rich people get the opportunity to stop everything that they're doing to get the finest medical treatment. That's why all of these ghouls live to 94 years old, you know. That's why all of the worst people in the world make it to 90, is they have regular visits with their doctors. They have skin people, they have fucking asshole people, they got feet people, they got poor people, they got everything.
Yeah. Before we go,
we're denied.
It's funny you just mentioned that. My daughter's going to the dermatologist tomorrow. I had to go get her medicine. I'm gonna say this, and I know people are going to make fun of me, but whatever. I had to go get her medicine. Okay. It was $150 for 2 prescriptions. One of them was like a cream, like a facial cleanser, and one of them was an antibiotic.
Got it.
And the facial cleanser was $90. That was the
primo shit.
Main expensive shit.
Got it.
So I Googled the name of it, and what came up was a brand that had all that stuff. It was called Differin, and it was $9.95.
Okay.
And it was just like, it was so crazy to see the difference. Like, and that is an indictment, I think, of our healthcare system more than anything I can ever think of. That I paid $90 for something that cost $10 because I was paying through health.
Yeah, because somebody was like, "Hey, we can take this paste and we can take this $9 paste and charge $90 for it."
Yeah, that's all it is. It really was the same stuff. And
were the reviews like good?
Yeah, it's a certain, I can look up what it is, but it's a certain cream that people use, and my daughter uses it. It's part of Proactive too.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm real happy that she's getting in there tomorrow. But it is called Adapalene Gel. It's really heartbreaking, like, dealing God, I didn't have like a lot of acne growing up, you know, and it's pretty heartbreaking to like watch. Like I just feel like she, you know, whenever she brings it up, it feels like, you know, real confidence. It like really hurts her confidence, and it really makes me sad. And like I would move heaven and earth to fix that. That's like the thing that I just trying to do whatever I can. And one of the things that has been a thing is like the medicine that they put you on for that stuff is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like there's a medicine, they were like, the stuff they'll probably put you on, you'll have to be on 2 different kinds of birth control. You'll have to visit a doctor every month and take a survey, and then your doctor will take a survey, and then they'll also be checking your liver enzymes.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit. And it's just gonna cost a fucking ton of money for this thing that's like kind of this normal thing that a lot of people deal with. And like it's so fucking sad to me. Like it's so just these things that we have to do, that they inflate the price to a point where, like, you know, if I didn't have insurance and shit, I wouldn't be able to afford this stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And so there are a lot of kids that just go, like, it makes me think about, like, the kids that go without health care. And I'm not talking about just for, like, skin stuff, which is kind of a normal thing, but it made me think about how many kids are, like, sick and haven't been to a doctor in years.
Well, I've had similar thoughts about, like, the area that you're in where the parents are aware of certain issues, developmental things, allergies, you know? Like, I have to think that, like, peanut allergies are something that in poorer parts of the neighborhood are, like, something that you just get a bellyache over, or, like, you avoid at all costs, you know? Like, there's a lot of issues that are being completely aren't being addressed at all in some communities because there's no money to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it does make it seem like it's just a rich person's problem, like a peanut allergy or a soy allergy.
Yeah.
But that's only because they're able to have access to the kind of scientific
they go to the doctor.
Data, to tell them of these things.
Yeah, a lot of people eat stuff that they're addicted or that they're allergic to all the time because they don't know, and it makes them feel like shit, and they don't know why they feel like shit, and don't tie it back to the thing. It is like, fix the healthcare system. You know, we gotta fix this thing. It's bad.
It just doesn't help anybody.
Like, every kid to get to go to the doctor. Like, it's wild that we don't even have a system where every child can get regular appointments. Like, I think everybody should be allowed to.
But you're right. I mean, you would think that we could sell them on a deal like, well, I mean, adults are on their own, right? But, like, kids can get, like, whatever they want. Like, we spoil the kids at least.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even the case.
It's not the case.
We can't even get that deal.
I mean, if you're a poor kid, fuck you. Is the way the whole thing's set up.
The schools are like, we're just going to pay to go to a school where we're away from you. You know, we'll just avoid you and go to a better school.
Yeah.
We'll use our money to get away. We'll make sure that your school is based upon how much your parents make. That's how much funding and education you'll get. That's how much the world is going to invest in you, is how much your parents make.
Yeah.
That's what decides it.
Yeah.
Whether they're homeowners or not.
Yep. Property taxes deciding. It's the wildest thing that property taxes decide the schools. Because there's such a stark difference that I can see just in that, like, where I grew up was sort of a working class neighborhood just outside of Columbus. And the house, it wasn't an expensive neighborhood, you know, and there was no money at that school ever. No, you know, half the time, like, there were times where they threatened to get rid of the football team.
I just saw that your alma mater is thinking about doing the high school graduation in a mega church.
Right. They've been saying that since I graduated.
Really?
Yeah.
They want to make the move over?
Every year they say they want to do it at World Harvest Church.
Yeah, it's Rod Parsley.
Pastor Rod Parsley.
You got to look him up.
He is something else. He's legendary. I've been to his house.
Woo! Cable?
Yeah. It is large. Sure. I mean, like Righteous Gemstones, like, type of a joint. He has a helicopter, and just incredible.
Everything in the world.
Yeah, he's a rich guy.
And God provides.
God does.
He's a
provide.
prophet.
Well, he has to live like that so that he can preach the word of God, like, in comfort.
It's not Robert Parsley. It's Rod Parsley. Is it Parsley?
Yeah, it's Rod.
Like the garnishment.
Pastor Rod.
Yeah. Pastor
Parsley.
Rod Parsley from World Harvest. He gets down in town. He was all over the public access. He ran a show, morning devotionals, where he would like shoot bolts of lightning into people that would like get him to like fall over and like, you know, start convulsing and shit. People speaking in tongues. I worked at a toy store over just off Bryce Road over there, right on the outskirts of his like purview.
Yeah.
And there was a chick that I worked with. When you called her house, her parents answered. They were World Harvest people. And when they answered the phone, they would say, praise the Lord, hello.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, like they were all the way in.
Right. I knew a lot of them. I think like the thing about it is that, what do you think of that? What do you think of having it at World Harvest?
I don't give a fuck.
That's what I'm saying. It's a event space.
I mean, it's defined by, you know, that's for people that believe in magic and think that it's like some sort of special grounds because it's like crosses are there and shit. But if it's a bunch of dirty ass hillbillies that are like cheering on their gap toothed kids that barely passed with D's, like it's not going to be a holy fucking moment at all. Like it doesn't matter. Whatever's the cheapest is what the school should They should do it at their own goddamn gym in my mind. Like
they used to do it on a football field.
Yeah, just don't spend money on it.
I know. I agree.
Use what you have.
Yeah, use the fucking football. Use
the kids are there all day long. You have them together for pep rallies and shit. There's a way to organize this so that they can all be in one fucking place without paying somebody to use a venue.
Yeah, and I understand like if you're like an atheist type person and you don't want to go there, but again,
you can carve X's into like the
what
arms
you're
of
saying,
the chairs and shit.
What you're saying is
upside
like
down crosses and shit.
That's what you're saying. Basically, what you're saying is true. It's not a magic place, you know.
Yeah.
You're not gonna believe in God just because you went to World Harvest. Like you're not gonna accidentally turn into a Christian because you graduated at World Harvest Church, you know. But there's also it is like a church though. You know what I mean?
The crazy kind of church.
It's a right-wing kind of church.
Like evangelical, like Rod Parsley has magic powers. For real. See, here's the thing is why people don't want to have it in his place is that if Rod Parsley shows up, all of a sudden he's in control. He can use the power of God to stop you dead in your tracks and make you fall on your back.
Yeah. He's like 3 steps under Joel Osteen. Probably.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe he's Joel Osteen adjacent.
Pimping, like he's getting by in Ohio.
Like people who search for Rod Parsley also search for Lester Summerall, John Hagee, Paul White, Creflo Dollar, and Jesse Duplantis.
Oh, I love Creflo. Was in Dallas when I was there. There was a guy that's whole family was into Creflo, and he used to tell me about it all the time.
Yeah, they have a college, and they have a football team, and they have a high school.
World Harvest?
World Harvest.
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
It's like a whole little city over there. It's real mega.
There was a guy that I used to work with that was the manager at the toy store, and he had a beard and long hair like Jesus, and we called him Jesus, and he would always be like, "No, man, I'm not like that. I'm not."
My daughter has
I'm
a
not
kid in her
Christ-like.
school called Jesus.
I'm not Christ-like.
Yeah, my daughter has a kid in her school that they call
was Jesus.
Jesus, yeah. It says he doesn't do well. He is very much like a anti-gay guy.
That's why he's Jesus.
Yeah. Well,
he's
Rod Parsley. Yeah.
Oh, Rod Parsley's
He endorsed McCain in 2008.
Yeah, he sucks ass. He's a bad one.
Yeah, and he has a ton of fucking money. So there you go.
There's lots of people that like get by on his.
I guess they shouldn't. I don't think they should be taking money that people put into a school and using it at a place that has spent so much. Like they're paying the church to do the thing there.
Yeah,
and like the church has done
that
this,
church
like,
sucks. They shouldn't give
stuff.
money. They shouldn't give money to him.
Yeah,
you're right. They shouldn't give money to World Harvest Church. That place is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
The guy that I worked with, also Jesus, he went to their school. He's like, "Oh, I'm studying music in Bible college." I'm like, "That's just gonna get you as the leader of a church band, dude. Like,
I never.
how are you going to get on MTV?
I will never in my life slam your college major. I don't like whatever you do. It's fine.
Yeah,
like
that's your
whatever
calling.
your passion is,
That's your calling.
whatever your calling is, I will never discourage you from doing the thing that you care about in college. I got a fucking sociology degree. And but like I have people in my family, my extended family, that went to like Christian colleges that aren't accredited. And it's just like, oh, we should not be like letting people take out loans to go to Christian college.
To learn the scales.
Yeah.
To learn how to play Jesus, I love him, yes I know.
Yeah,
'Cause the
or to
Bible
just
tells
learn,
me so.
learn like Christian fucking what do you do there? Like Christian
Literature.
business,
Maybe Christian literature.
Christian. Well, they got the one book. That's it. You can't learn
Well,
about Christian
yeah.
literature. I guess you could do Left Behind, the Left Behind series.
Yeah, Left Behind would be great. That's
Yeah.
Christian literature.
That's lit, you know.
Yeah.
All right, we're done here, man. That was fun.
Thanks
That was
for
a fun little
tuning
show.
into Street Fight Radio. This is the #1 anarcho-comedy radio show in any station across the nation, like we said. You can give us a call this Sunday night.
No, you can't. This Sunday night,
Ooh.
there is a live Trillbilly show in Cincinnati, and we would never miss our friends'
True.
live show ever. We would never miss somebody's.
Trillbillies are good entertainers.
They're the best. They're two of the best
Lee
out
Baines.
there. Lee Baines
Great
the third
entertainer.
there, yeah. And then like I'm hearing they have two special guests that aren't me and Brett, but they're from Ohio and they know them, so it's not us. It's got to be somebody else.
Don't promise them somebody besides us.
It's gonna be somebody else, maybe.
Okay.
It's a
Let's
surprise.
see. Let's
you know?
see.
It's us. I mean, but don't tell anybody. It's good. It's supposed to be a secret. Okay.
Where's the show at?
It's at the
Yacht Club?
yeah. I keep getting it wrong. It's like
North Side Yacht Club?
River North, maybe. I'm getting it right now. I am the worst at plugging because I didn't know we were going to. But
So, also, if you want, Austin tickets are on sale, and I bought plane tickets and hotel and transportation for the West Coast. We're coming in November. We're going to Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, LA, and San Diego. We're bringing Minion Death Cult with us. We need money because I just spent $1 billion securing all of that. Head to store.straightfightradio.com. We have Guys, Gals, and Non-Binary Pals shirts available. We have Hellfire Tour shirts available. Come support the show by putting a union-made, very soft, wonderful, beautiful t-shirt on your body.
yeah, I want to say Northside Yacht Club is what it's called. But I would like to. I also just. I guess we can take this time. I didn't have a lot
Benny
of...
Hinn was the one.
Benny Hinn. He's
Forgot
a
about
good
Benny
one.
Hinn. He would get the jacket out on you.
Oh, I like it.
That jacket would get imbued with like the Holy Spirit, and when they got a hold of you, you'd get electrified.
I should watch some of those guys. 'Cause-
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, Benny Hinn's
I don't
good.
think I've watched very much. But
You watched a lot of Broccoli and Buckets, the Bakers,
the Bakers?
Jim Baker.
Oh, yeah. Mostly what I watched Pastor Rod for a number of years.
Yeah, I mean every Columbus person did. I mean in the
If you
middle
didn't
of
have cable.
Rod Parsley was on. If you were doing mescaline and you were up in the morning, he was doing his shit very early on Sundays.
Yeah, the summer I did acid every day. Every other day for the whole summer, I would sit up and watch Pastor Rod every night. Or listen and
Same.
or have him on TV and listen to Twisted. But like
Just
that
watch
was
it fucking get down.
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
people go bananas.
Yeah. But yeah, we should just since while we're talking about the West Coast tour is happening with Minion Death Cult and a Canadian podcast
Yep.
that I have been on before that Blocked Party that we shouldn't say because of visa stuff, but we will be doing some stuff with them. The POD cast will be
Yeah.
live at those shows opening up. So lot of cool shit coming up. And again, we're looking into like a really big thing in Columbus. So
Yeah.
we're kind of working on maybe putting together a nice little variety show that you'll get to watch streaming on TV live.
We have Florida planned. Katie came over today. April in Florida. End of April, we're going to New York.
Hellfire Tour.
Doing the South again in August. We're doing Milwaukee in July.
I love that we
next
pick
year.
August to go to the South every time. It's
Yeah.
like, why not?
So we are coming to Portland, Oregon in November. We will be
I think
there.
you can already buy tickets, actually.
Well, I have to set them up. I'm going to do that
okay.
now. We have to
Okay.
get the poster together, and I gave them until the end of the month, so I'm waiting until then. Tickets for Portland will go on soon. Once we get all that distributed, you'll be able to spend your money on shit.
You'll be able to
Let's go.
see us all. If you're in the...
We're coming back.
We're coming back around, baby. Have a good night.
Support us on Patreon. That Shocktober's dropping Monday, September 30th. So patreon.com/StreetFightRadio. Peace to the Middle East.